오한수 남편에게 혼외자가 있다. 그렇지 않다입니다.
Do-Yoon sneaks somewhere. He has to find evidence so that Wan-Soo believes what he says. He went into Mrs. Bayan. In that room there are many monitors connected to CCTV. Then Do-Yoon copied the CCTV data. At that time Lee Jin looked for Do-Yoon and saw him coming out of Mrs. Bayan. Lee Jin asks why Do-Yoon is in Mrs. Bayan. He explained that he had something to ask, but Mrs. Bayan isn't there. Do-Yoon was asked to go to Deputy Leader Kim Young-guk's room. Young-guk was waiting for Do-Yoon. He asked if bodyguards are supposed to do such things, interfering in his client's affairs and detaining them by force. Do-Yoon apologizes, because the two of them are his priority. Young-guk thought it seemed like Do-Yoon wasn't afraid of being fired. He asked Do-Yoon not to be too harsh on him. Do-Yoon checks the CCTV footage and he can see Young-guk and Mr. Park putting some money into the bag. From the volume, it looks like it's 700,000 to 800,000 US dollars. That's 1 billion Korean won. The amount is too large to hire an assassin. Chairman Park asks Mr. Hon to make Yeon-min to the chairman of the foundation to replace Wan-Soo. They will make Wan-Soo resign from that position. Not long after, Mr. Hon sent a resignation speech to Wan-Soo. His brother was confused. Why was he suddenly like that? And that's because Young-guk has a son out of wedlock. So Wan-Soo plans to leak it to the tabloids. That Deputy Leader Kim, from the Hwain Group, had an affair and had a 10-year-old son with that woman. Wan-Soo will not divorce him and will not let them take Now Foundation.
진짜 풀어?
And rumors of Young-guk's affair reached to Chairman Park. Young-guk was surprised because there was a large crowd of journalists waiting for him. It seemed he didn't know that yet. Wan-Soo was also confronted by journalists who asked about the rumors. It turns out that Tira and her mother were already waiting for Wan-Soo in the office. Tira asked Wan-Soo to stop the news. And Wan-Soo can only suggest Tira to act normally. Then Tira gave the idea for Wan-Soo to do an interview. Chairman Park gathered her family in her room. She asked everyone to be quiet. And Wan-Soo has to stay away from the public spotlight for now. That's for the best, because the stock price plummeted because of the rumors. Public wants the group to be transparent in its management and succession. They are also worried that Wan-Soo will divorce Young-guk. Then Wan-Soo asked Chairman Park to consider her resignation. But Chairman Park instead asked Wan-Soo to stop babbling and not interfere in the foundation's affairs until things calm down. The next day, Wan-Soo prepares a press conference. The reporters were waiting, but Wan-Soo was delayed because she was attending a banquet with the minister and her mother-in-law. The minister felt that Wan-Soo had to go somewhere. But her mother-in-law actually said that the banquet with the minister was much more important. Then Wan-Soo asked permission to go out for a moment. Outside, Wan-Soo said that the chairman had a bit of a fever and asked Lee Jin to get a blanket in the car. Do-Yoon told Wan-Soo to go out the back door and he would follow her soon. Wan-Soo leaves by taking a taxi with Do-Yoon. Finally, Wan-Soo entered the press conference room. It was the first time she had discussed such an issue. It has been more than 10 years since she retired as a professional golfer. During this time, she was an ordinary housewife. And because news spread quickly, she was also visited by many reporters. She had no choice but to appear in public again. That the rumors of her husband's affair with a woman are not true. The rumored illegitimate child was actually the son of her late father-in-law. The late leader of the Kim duo was the child's father. Chairman Park was shocked and didn't expect Wan-Soo to make such fake news. And the journalists were also curious about the truth of the news. Wan-Soo asked reporters not to dig deeper into her family affairs. Seeing this, Tira was very angry because Wan-Soo made her the mistress of a 70-year-old man. Yeomin and his wife also didn't expect it because Wan-Soo could act crazy. Yeomin was very happy and wanted to immediately see Young-gak and his mother's faces. Chairman Park asked Wan-Soo to meet at her house. She was very angry because she felt destroyed by Wan-Soo. But that was Wan-Soo's life choice, she just wanted to create a better world. Chairman Park asked what she would help with. Because Wan-Soo's property is Wan-Soo's, and the property of Chairman Park belongs to Chairman Park, all the money Wan-Soo spent belonged to Chairman Park. But Wan-Soo felt like she worked more for Hwain than his son. She is the face of Hwain. But Chairman Park asked Wan-Soo to step down from the position of director of Ha-Neul Foundation, then Wan-Soo threatened to hold another press conference. She will tell the world about the foundation and her role in it. Wan-Soo will create an international organization that is managed transparently. So stop tarnishing her work results with financial problems. Chairman Park can seek help from prosecutors and the police, but stopping the media is not easy. Hearing that, Chairman Park was very angry and threatened Wan-Soo with what would happen to Wan-Soo later. Wan-Soo was not afraid. As long as she could protect the foundation, she would accept the risk.
재단을 지키기 위해서라면.
Tira took Jun-hee to the main palace. Chairman Park invited everyone to sit down and also Wan-Soo. Chairman Park asked Wan-Soo to treat Tira with respect as her other mother-in-law. Tira has the right to live there because she was her late husband's lover. Wan-Soo will show the room to Tira and call her concubine. It turns out that Tira doesn't know what concubine means. Then she asked her mother and her mother explained that it was an affair. A mistress is a woman who has an affair and gives birth to an illegitimate child. Wan-Soo knocks on Do-Yoon's door and tells him she will run. Then Wan-Soo ran followed by Do-Yoon behind. They stop and Wan-Soo asks if she's pathetic because her husband's mistress moved in with their son. Do-Yoon wonders what Wan-Soo is actually protecting. He took Wan-Soo to the press conference because he thought he could help her. He thought it was her way of getting out of the family. Wan-Soo will divorce only if there is love and her marriage has long been destroyed. In the past, Chairman Kim asked Wan-Soo to scan her fingerprints and the bank would use it to confirm her identity. And the details will be revealed when the time comes. He asked Wan-Soo not to divorce yet because there was something he asked from her. And Wan-Soo has to protect Ha-Neul Foundation. She will face anything without having to hide. Do-Yoon lose his temper? He asks if Wan-Soo wants to die. That Chairman Kim did not die in the main palace. And the person who killed his friend is now after Wan-Soo's life. Someone in the house wants Wan-Soo dead. Do-Yoon is very desperate because when his friend died, the police stopped investigating his death. His friend left several videos for him. Proof that Chairman Kim did not die in the main palace. And someone in the wing is an assassin. Chairman Park prepared wine worth 150 million won for Wan-Soo to give to Yeomin's wife, Miss Yoon. Wan-Soo was a bit lazy, but then Do-Yoon took the wine and asked Wan-Soo to leave. Wan-Soo took the wine from Do-Yoon and went inside herself. Miss Yoon comes and sees the wine. Wan-Soo said that Chairman Park bought it for 150 million. And when she took the wine, she dropped it. It seemed like she dropped it on purpose, because she wanted to show off that she had the same wine at home. They had dinner together. And the waiter will open the wine given by Chairman Park. They also enjoyed dinner that night. Wan-Soo got a gift sent from New York. The clothes were to be worn at the opening ceremony of the Ha-Neul Welfare Center. When Chairman Park attended the opening ceremony, Wan-Soo's secretary was a little surprised by the clothes she wore. It turns out she was wearing the same clothes as Wan-Soo. Seeing that, Chairman Park became angry, but there were many journalists, so she held back her anger. Wan-Soo gave a short welcome to the invited guests. Then she introduced Hwain's chairman, Park Miron. Chairman Park then went on stage and journalists asked the parents-in-law and daughter-in-law to take a photo together. They were forced to comply with journalists' requests and take photos together. Chairman Park practiced judo with security staff. She expressed her emotions by slamming her opponents. It seemed like they all gave in because it was their chairman who was fighting. Then she invited Do-Yoon to fight. When fighting, Do-Yoon didn't want to give in and he slammed Chairman Park. When Do-Yoon helped her up, she smelled Do-Yoon's body odor. Chairman Park can tell what food is from the smell of their breath and can tell what a person has eaten throughout their life from their body odor. That means she can understand Do-Yoon from head to toe. Even though Do-Yoon is only a police officer from an ordinary family, his aroma is sweet. And Chairman Park also invited him to practice again another time.
네, 이제.
Chairman Park asked Wan-Soo to meet her. Wan-Soo said that the red shirt was a gift. She didn't know if the chairman bought the same color and model. Suddenly, Chairman Park talks about Wan-Soo's mother, that his brother was good at keeping secrets. It turns out his mother was locked up in a locked room in a mental hospital ward. Wan-Soo was very surprised to hear that. Then Chairman Park showed a photo of her mother and made Wan-Soo shocked and sad. And the doctor said she was no longer old. Wan-Soo and her brother went to a mental hospital where their mother was being treated. After a long journey, they finally arrived and her brother said that maybe their mother didn't recognize Wan-Soo. When they entered, Wan-Soo was shocked because the place was like a prison, but her brother couldn't do anything because it was Ward Park's order. Then Wan-Soo wanted to meet her by herself. She entered her mother's ward and after entering, Wan-Soo suddenly screamed and called mother. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe and share.